Everyone's flat-footed.
Over the head of Day. Hewlett attacked it. Normally a good user. Long! For the lead back!
When do you think you lost to Craig was seesawing of this in that last quarter?
Handball out wide. Dersma. Siren sounds. Means a lot to everybody.
Is it the old age? Is it the slow legs? Not being able to keep up with these fast-moving teams? Not being able to track their handball passages? The little chip kicks to work the ball up the ground? We can't stop it.
Cats win. It's top four for them.
We start at the Magpies. Their flag chances, the chances of them retaining the premiership and going back-to-back are floundering.
A coming out party at the MCG. And how far can they go?
You can lose and still be winners, and we're right on the edge. So we address that, talking about what that looks like going forward. Regardless of whatever is to be done, we want to be winners doing it. And we've said that from day one. You've heard that come out of my mouth. So there's no timeline on that. There's no full stop on that. There's no end date to that. It's just constantly being a winner.
Painfully revisiting the 4-game stretch that effectively ruined Collingwood's dreams of going back-to-back, and there's a bit to unpack here, so I thought let's revisit it and just see where it all went wrong. Can we make sense of it? And I don't think we can, and I'll explain to you why at the end. I think there's a nice little metaphor we can refer to when we look back at this time, okay? So we go back to the Gold Coast game, and we're on an 8-game unbeaten streak. We've won 6 games, 2 draws. We struggled to get over the line against North Melbourne in that massive comeback win. And then we have the bye shortly thereafter, then Melbourne or something like that. And then total and utter capitulation. It starts with the Gold Coast game. We bring in 5 changes for the Collingwood side. We bring in Markov, Pendles, Checkers, DeGoey and Richards. For mine, and if we go back to the moving the magnets, you'll see I thought it was too many changes to make. But I could also understand the other side of it. It was round 16, and we needed these players to come in ASAP to get some sort of run going into the finals to ensure that they're match ready and match hardened, okay? In retrospect, you look back at it, you go, wow, DeGoey, should have we kept him out a little bit longer? Pendles nurses that tackle and Ben Long kicks that goal to win the game. Myercheck, Markov is suspect. Richards I think he was quieter in this game. Actually, this was one of his okay games, actually. And we looked really flat in that second and third quarter. We looked slow around the stoppages, particularly with Lockie Schultz being out and McCreary only played 50% of the game. I think he got injured that game. I think he'd done a calf. So 2 of your premier pressure forwards who usually come into the stoppages to clog up the outside were not there. So Matt Rowell, Anderson having an absolute field day. Flanders just running amok. And then I look at Frampton, was probably accountable for 6 or 7 of the goals we conceded. If you watch back the highlights, it was incredible. Sullivan looked slow this game. This is probably one of his, the beginning of his demise at AFL level in 2024. And then Harvey Harrison was starting to was starting to show some signs of that natural curve where you're a youngster coming in, you start really well, but then you get that fatigue, in-season fatigue as a youngster, which is what happened. And then we saw that DeGoey and Nick Dacos take over mode, and arguably, in my opinion, goal of the year from Nick Dacos. I think it's better than the Brisbane one. I can respect how fast Dacos was running in that Brisbane goal, taking on 2 players and running at full pelt and kicking that goal. I still love this one. And for mine, Dwayne Russell's commentary is just goated in this one. Guys, just quickly, I want to thank you all for supporting Pies Footy throughout the year. It's been a massive blow up and has become a big part of my life, and I hope it's become a big part of your content consumption as well. If you'd like to support the channel furthermore, there is a YouTube membership option that I'll post in the description and in the comment section. It's $5 a month. It essentially helps the costs, the running costs and expenses for Pies Footy when it comes to streams. So we use StreamYard, music and sound effects, Canva for thumbnails, equipment, of course, which we're always upgrading, and then CapCut, which is editing software. So that $5 a month will go a long way in supporting upkeeping those expenses and ensuring that Pies Footy is always evolving. So let you guys get back to the video. Thanks for your support. And we'll see there's a common theme across these 4 games with the uncontested possession battle. It was just daunting and bewildering bemusing as to how easy teams were moving the ball on the outside against us. It was something I wasn't necessarily accustomed to because last year we didn't concede a bunch of uncontested possessions. We were middle of the pack. This year, it wouldn't look good. I know we'd be bottom 4 because it was horrible, particularly in that 4-game stretch. And then we were down in contested possessions as well, whereas mid-year we're actually a top 4 contested side. We lost that model as well. So we lose that against Gold Coast. Okay, you could chalk it up as Gold Coast Fortress, blah, blah, blah. Something was brewing though. Something didn't feel right, okay? And then we go into that Bombers game. Everyone's concerned about Zach Merritt, and Zach Merritt runs rampant. Do we have a player who can play on him to keep up with him? Probably not. That's probably why we didn't see anybody really have a crack at Merritt. He ends up being the best player on the ground, takes the coaches' votes. Charlie Dean, another suspect coaching decision here. So we talked about the coaching decision in bringing in 5 players for the game against Gold Coast. We talk about Charlie Dean being subbed off relatively early in that 3rd quarter for Ned Long. So then we look back at that and we go, geez, fuck, like, what's the rationale behind that? We go shorter against the Bombers and you're up against Peter Wright, Nate Caddy, who had a great game, and Kyle Langford. It's like, wow, like, make that make sense to me. And then a trend that also begun in the Bombers game was being killed in the centre bounce, and being killed in the sense of teams were scoring directly from these centre bounces. 3 goals directly from centre bounce stoppages for Essendon. The AFL average is 6 points. So if you're kicking 3 goals, you're doing very well against whoever you're versing, okay? We talk about the uninspiring 3rd quarter that we put up against Gold Coast. Well, this one was the worst one. I remember doing the watch along with Caleb and I just couldn't think of anything worse than watching the rest of this game after that 3rd quarter. I was demoralised. I was defeated just watching that 3rd quarter. It was probably, if I had to pick the worst 3rd quarter this year to watch, it'd probably be that one. And then once again, minus 60 or 70 in uncontested possessions, and then minus 10 in the contested battle once again. So these trends, then just not what you want going in towards the final series, and ultimately was the death of us at Collingwood. And then Geelong, a slow start out the gates early in the game. We see Isaac Quaynor matching up and Jeremy Cameron. You go, fuck, is that where we're at? I never want to see that again. Isaac Quaynor played well. He did well when he was on Jeremy Cameron. But next time they play, I want Darcy Moore on him. I want Laverde if he's at the club. I want Frampton if he's at the club. I want Kruger if he's at the club to be on him. Maybe not Frampton. Maybe not Billy Band-Aid. But at least one or the other, right? Isaac Quaynor cannot be playing on Jeremy Cameron. That is just shows a lack of confidence in Darcy Moore and can never happen again. Okay? So they come out the gates really fast, Geelong. They score 3 goals from centre bounces in the 1st quarter. They finished with 4 goals from centre bounces to Collingwood's 6. And what was the margin? I think it was 3 goals. So that was the ultimate difference. And then in that second half, Geelong really just managed to control the motion, what's the word? The tempo of the game, right? They were controlling the outside, just uncontested mark, and they took that to a new level in the 4th quarter. It reminded me of the old boring Geelong kick mark, really just zaps your energy. That was the 4th quarter in a nutshell. So after all of that, now this is where the metaphor comes in. I feel like from that Gold Coast game leading into that Hawthorn game, there was just a storm slowly like coming along, right? And sometimes it's inexplicable. Like you look at the Melbourne weather, sometimes the weather is forecasted to be nice, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you couldn't foresee a storm occurring, and what ends up happening, you find yourself in the midst of one, and there's no reason as to why this has come about, and this is where we are in the Hawthorn game. The storm is finally above the Collingwood helm and wreaking havoc, and that is Hawthorn wreaking havoc on us. Again, just slow out the blocks. Hawthorn wanted it more. They looked so fast. They looked like the best team in the league. They dominate us in the uncontested battle once again. Ginnivan has the last laugh. Like, chalk that one up. That was the most painful game to watch. I put myself through watching the full 4 quarters. But the reason why I say it's a storm is because after those 4 games, we just completely shifted. And I want you to tell me in the comment section what changed. What happened? Can you really put your finger on it and say, yeah, this is what happened here. This is what happened. This is the difference. It's just a storm. We couldn't overcome it while we were in it. We came out of it, but it was too little too late, okay? And I think storms sometimes, perfect explanation, just inexplicable. You just have to wear it and try and not come out the backside once it's all said and done. But unfortunately, the storm chewed us up, spat us out, and we couldn't pick up the pieces. We were dilapidated, and now here we are, Tuesday the 10th of September, and we're not even in the finals, and we're making videos like this. So, look, it's good to see that we've bounced back. We win 4 of our last 5, and we take that into next year with great wealth of confidence, and let's see where we go. Go Pies. Guys, just quickly, I want to thank you all for supporting Pies Footy throughout the year. It's been a massive blow up and has become a big part of my life, and I hope it's become a big part of your content consumption as well. If you'd like to support the channel furthermore, there is a YouTube membership option that I'll post in the description and in the comment section. It's $5 a month. It essentially helps the costs, the running costs and expenses for Pies Footy when it comes to streams. So we use StreamYard, music and sound effects, Canva for thumbnails, equipment, of course, which we're always upgrading, and then CapCut, which is editing software. So that $5 a month will go a long way in supporting, upkeeping those expenses and ensuring that Pies Footy is always evolving. So I'll let you guys get back to the video. Thanks for your support.